Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting. Tonight is October 2nd, 2018. If I could ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Looking at the eagle, it just didn't look like. So, okay. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Madam Chair, on the agenda, my apologies, the Eagle Scout recognition will actually be at the October 16th meeting. Other than that, I don't have any other changes.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Seconded? All those in favor?
Aye.
The chair says aye. All right, so we have a couple announcements. Tomorrow, October 3rd, 2018, is National Coffee with a Cop Day, held in conjunction with National Community Policing Week. The police department will be participating in the event on all three shifts. 11 to 7 shift from 2300 to 000 at Mobile. That doesn't make sense. Okay. 7 to 3 shift from 1000 to 1100 at Union Coffee, and the 3 to 11 shift at 1800 to 1900 at Dunkin' Donuts. A free coffee with a cop mug will be given to the first 5 people who attend on each shift. Okay. October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The police department is joining hundreds of departments across the nation in awareness of this month by wearing special pink Air Police Department patches on our uniforms. And I would also like to announce that our student reporters are back. Yes. And we're very happy to see them. Tonight we have Anthony Winship under the guidance of Eleanor Capasso. Welcome back. We're very happy to have you guys again. Okay. Any other announcements or anything?
No.
Okay. Anyone here for public input? Mary.
I'd just like to take a few minutes to discuss the capital plan and the level of discourse out there, which is sometimes not very pleasant. People have a right to ask questions about costs, and I think that they find it a little offensive that we always have debt exclusions. And we're told, well, they're only for a short time. They're not they're not permanent. Look at the age of all of us that are at town meeting. They're our lifetime. Can't we have, this is what I'm asked, can't we have a couple of years when we don't throw one in and let the ones get off that are there? Now, I don't know how many we have, but I know that the police station should be off, but I'm not positive because they went in there in August of 1997. Town Hall is still on. We did that in 2000. We did also in 2000 $500,000 towards the purchase of the land for the fire station, and then we did several more debt exclusions after that. In 1999, I believe we did the addition for the library. That was a good project, and there was a grant there also that should be close to. So, and also in 17, we did, and I'm not even going to talk about the enterprise, but we did $3,480,000 worth of debt exclusions because we had the West Main Street bridge, and that's $1,230,000 plus a grant. We did the DPW Operations Center. That's good. It looks good, and we got room for expansion. That was $900,000. The highway storage garage, $750,000. Haven't heard anything about that. The park storage and maintenance building, that's in the process, and I'm not even going into Grove Pond wells. So I think that if you could do something, Robert, for the next meeting and put it, in a nice dark print like us older people, so we can read it, and put the years Scott loves to put it in little tiny print.
This
Give
guy?
it to me,
yeah.
yeah, he does that all the time.
He likes you.
I know.
The treasurer, tax collector, I always get confused. Didn't she put something out with all the debt exclusions recently?
It was like the when the debt's falling off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had emailed that a couple
But
weeks
if
ago.
you could just do that and
Mhm.
put the amount of it and the year it's
Amount.
falling off, it would be good if you
Okay.
could do that for the next
In
meeting.
huge print.
Big, large print, large
Large,
dark,
large
that's nice.
dark.
Large,
Okay.
dark.
Yep,
Yes.
so that would be for October 16th, yep.
Yeah, because we do have a lot. We have a lot, and we have a lot more to come too, and
I
we
have lots of
understand that. But to be told all the time, this is only $35, let's say, a year. Well, this is only $50. It's $35 more a year on your taxes. And I don't think that the government is going to send me extra money to make up for it. I have a feeling they're not.
Through the chair, as you know, Ms. Spinner, I think the cost of living on Social Security is dismal, so, yeah.
Yes, so
Okay,
that's my,
Okay,
all right.
for tonight.
for
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Woo, can't wait till next week. Anyone else here for public input? Okay. Well then, if I could ask Mr. Tim Silva, Director of the Ayer Public Library, to come on down.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
My pleasure. I'm very happy to be here.
Good.
We're happy to have you. Yeah.
So you're the brand new
nice to meet
Director
you.
of the Ayer Library.
That's right. Officially started just about a month ago now, so had a chance to get settled in a little bit and meet and work with the staff. And I've been getting out into the community a little bit, talking with some of the folks here on Main Street, some of the business owners, and whoever I happen to run into, actually. And it's been going very well. So I'm, like I said, I'm pleased to be here. And one of the things that I was sort of charged with when I got here was to try to build kind of a stronger connection between the library and town hall for one, and then the community at large on the whole. And I am hoping to do that as best I can over the next get started over the next year, and then and see where we go. One of the things I'm working with our assistant director Samantha Benoit on is we're going to start coming up with a community survey to send out to folks so we can get some feedback on what people think of the library now, and maybe what they might like to see the library offer in terms of services or resources, and what things they maybe would like to have us consider as something new and different, or maybe something that we're already doing that they want us to keep doing. So that will be something we'll hope to roll out, I think, before the end of the calendar year.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Madam Chair, if I could just add, and again, Tim, welcome. In just a month's time, Tim has really, it feels like you've been here longer, and I mean that in a good way. For the first time, we got a monthly report from the library, which I'm appreciative of, and has worked really well with the department heads, and we've had a lot of good conversations, and he hosted the tax forum we did last week at the library, and did a very nice job with that. So he also comes highly regarded from the city of Leominster, where he had worked prior to coming to Ayer. So I think one of the things Tim and I have talked about, which I know this board has talked about and will continue to talk about, is the further integration of the town and the library, but also really using the library to promote our stuff, and of course us to promote theirs. And
Yeah.
we have some different ideas on that. I
Yeah.
know you spoke to some. So again, welcome.
Thanks. And on that note, I think we've already been working together a little bit. Cindy Knox and and Christine at the library and myself, we've been sharing some Facebook posts back and forth about town events on our various pages. And so, yeah, the more messaging that we can do to kind of promote what's going on in town and the great stuff that's happening here, I think the better for all of us. So.
Wow, that's wonderful. It's a completely different attitude. Nice to hear.
I feel like we have a companion.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
that's,
I'm sure
hey.
you'll actually answer emails when you receive.
I will do my best.
Excellent.
And yeah, feel free anytime if you have any questions. Give a ring, send me an email. Be happy to show you around the library, answer any questions you may have. The more chance I get to kind of poke around, the more I know, the more I'll learn about what's going on here, and talking with all of you, kind of what kind of a community Ayer is, and what they're hoping to get from the library. So.
Well, this sounds wonderful. Well, feel free to join us again at any time.
Will do.
And if you ever have an announcement or something and you need our help getting it out, let us know.
That sounds great. All right. Thank you
Thanks
so
very
much.
much.
Pleasure
Thanks,
meeting you.
Tim.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay.
Difference already.
Right.
I've noticed it on social media too. Just
Should we go
the
ahead?
things out there from the library.
All right, now the Ayer Community Garden.
Yes. As long as they don't fall on my face up here. All right. Oh, good, because my voice doesn't carry well. Thank you for coming here. We're all very excited to go through this last step, or this major step. It's not the last step by any means, but it's an important piece of where we're going with the garden, so we appreciate it.
If you could please say your name for the
Oh, I'm
audience.
so sorry. Sheila Carmian.
Miss Sheila.
Well, what can we do for you?
Well,
Do you want me to start the slide?
yeah, we have a little slide presentation up here of telling you about our community garden. Our mission is, to establish a community garden in the town of Ayer. It's going to be a community resource. It's going to be an educational opportunity for people. We'll have workshops. We'll get people together and have the benefits of the community of growing together and growing food and sharing, that kind of stuff. Next. Yeah. So we started in January of this year. I put out a post on the Ayer Mass community page asking if anybody in town was interested in starting a community garden. At the time, 2 people responded and we started meeting. And then in June, things just really blossomed, and we're meeting regularly at the library. It's a great resource for us. We have a meeting room there. We have 15 very active members and about 84 to 90 people on our Facebook page, followers. So it seems like the need is there and the interest is certainly there. So what we've done so far, we've got support from the town, many of the offices in the town here. We appreciate that, especially with Mark Wetzel from DPW, who's been very supportive for us. We've got a Massachusetts nonprofit corporation status. We've got a tax ID and have a bank account now. And we've done a lot of research with 2 very successful community garden organizers, Mill City Grows in Lowell and Growing Places. In fact, I was in Growing Places today, and they're helping us with guidance in a lot of areas. So we've got site identified, and we're applying for community preservation funding. We're doing a lot of outreach as much as we can is in the neighborhoods and around town. The one area we're having a hard time reaching is people in Grove Pond neighborhood. And so I've been brainstorming on how we can get the word out to them. So So we have support from the private sectors. I've written some guidelines for incoming gardeners, and we've had the soil tested, it's fine. There'll be raised beds, but we felt it would be good to test the soil anyway. So that's done. And really, we submitted an MOU to the town. We're finalizing the budget. There's still one piece, I haven't got the estimate for the shed yet from the Neshoba Tech. We're trying to use local resources like that. We're using local vendors also, like more lumber. So we're securing. Growing Place will be our fiscal manager for a year, the first year, so that we can utilize their nonprofit status and get their guidance. And after that, we're working towards becoming an autonomous nonprofit. Yeah. So we've come a long way since June, a real long way.
No kidding.
Yeah, and originally, actually more than a year ago, I was working with Jeff Thomas a little bit, trying to find a good spot, but we didn't find anything at the time. I've been called tenacious.
Yes. You,
That's good. I've been called much worse, so tenacious is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I happen to like tenacious.
I do too. It's better than stubborn, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Is this right out in front of the water department, like right before it, the entrance? The plot? I'm just,
Me?
yeah, I'm sorry. Mark.
Yeah, it's, do you know where the old dog pound is?
Yeah.
Right there?
So it'd be that side of Barnum Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice spot. It's good.
You know, the big challenge on that site, well, there's two challenges. One is, you know, about half of it needs to be cleared.
Hmm.
So that's a challenge of how do you pay for that, or who do you get to help do that. And then the other challenge that I don't know how serious it is, but it is, the land is owned by the water department, and to be able to use water department property for things other than water supply purposes requires approval from the state. So I've sent them the information, haven't heard back. I don't see it as a problem because it's outside of the zone 1 of the well. It's right on the edge of the zone 2, and there's a lot of other uses out there. So it's fairly compatible with passive use for water supply. So I don't see it as a problem, but it's still something we have to address.
It's very easy access from the Grove Pond neighborhood because there's that walkway through and over that little footbridge. That was one of the appealing parts. So as I understand, I'm here to see if the Board of Selectmen will approve the license. You got it?
Madam Chair, if I could first, when Sheila says she's tenacious, that's an understatement, and I mean that as a compliment. She came to see me 2 years ago in the dead of winter with passion for this idea, and I thought it was an excellent idea, and I said that we will get this done, and she didn't let up, and that's a true testament over the last 2 years. And I also want to thank Superintendent Wetzel, who drafted up the MOU, the license agreement, and has provided a lot of his expertise and also the idea of this location for the spot. And there are challenges that we continue to discuss as far as the full clearing and so forth. But I think that it is an excellent project for the town, a partnership. Our role, I should clarify, what we're looking for tonight is your approval of the concept. In other words, the license agreement that you have in your packet. We're just waiting for town council's final review on that. But I talked to them today, don't anticipate any substantive changes from that. And though I can enter into a lease agreement on town land, we felt two things. One, that this is an important project and that the board should know, and that also the board should either give its blessing or not. I mean, it's all the options. But again, I think they have put in place good rules and regulations. The lease agreement would be for $1, standard lease. And in that sense. And of course, as Sheila knows, the town does reserve the right, if there was some need for that land or something, to revert back. But both Superintendent Wessel and I don't foresee that to be an issue. And as Sheila knows, we just need approval from the state, as the superintendent mentioned. And Conservation's been working
Yes.
with you as well. So I think the key thing is they're still looking for volunteers and folks to be involved. So we would be looking for your approval to approve the license, subject to town council revision. But I don't see any substantive changes.
Well, I love this idea.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. So, any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, just a question. How many plots do you think you'll get in that space, and how big will they be?
Initially, we're going to start small. It's a large space.
Okay.
We are going to put in only 11 regular raised beds, standard height, about 2 feet. And then there will be 3 of them, which we're calling elevated, that can be utilized by people with back problems or in a wheelchair.
That's a good idea.
And then perhaps next year we'll, after our first season, we'll add more. There's the plot inside the fenced area, it's going to be about 130 feet long by 100 feet wide. It's very good size.
Yeah.
Well, there'll be there'll be a shed in there and compost area. But, yeah, so we've got a lot of room for expansion.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
We just don't want to take on more than we can handle. Small, all newbies at this.
Well, sounds like a very exciting project. It does. Any other questions for anybody? Or?
Let me make one more note. I talked to Pastor Agus today. She is a minister of the Lutheran Church on Washington Street.
Okay, yep.
And we talked about the possibility of them having one of the beds, using it for food and to grow food. And it'll be a congregation project, and the food can go either for them to use amongst themselves, the people they feel in need in their church community, or Loaves and Fishes, and we'll be donating excess food to Loaves and Fishes too. One last thing.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris.
I'd like to make a motion that the town of Ayer enter into a lease and license agreement with the Ayer Community Gardens through January 1st, 2024, as outlined in the packet.
And we'll second.
Unless there's any further discussion, which I think this is a wonderful idea.
Great.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye. Congratulations. I've been called tenacious myself.
Robert, Alan, maybe to do one of his stand-up bits?
Yes. Yeah.
To help promote it?
Yes. That's. I'm sure he will gladly do
Oh,
that.
she's probably already out there setting up.
By the way, good evening. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Sorry, I was 2 minutes late. 3 minutes late.
It was 3.
3? Chair moves fast. I tried. Enough time, and then it's like,
Always 3. Actually,
seriously,
I
know.
Always 3.
I really
Which
just-
is 5.
you think after 6 years, I know how long it takes to get here from my house.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. What you got?
I have 2 things tonight. One is a change order for J. D'Amico. They're doing they finished the culvert improvement on High Street. We've got a program where we're replacing certain culverts on certain streets before they fail, and also before we pave the road and then have to go back and fix it. So High Street, we rebuilt the culvert there. Project came out great, but we had to do a change order to relocate the water main. It was unanticipated from the location that we thought it was and where it actually was. So the change order in the amount of $10,521.72 increases the total contract to $68,000. $21.72 for signature by the chair.
The water main was 1898.
No.
The replacement
Oh,
was
it wasn't
1898.
1898. It was an 1898 water main. It's one of the original ones in the system.
Wow.
We have a lot of 1898 pipe in the system.
What do those pipes look like on the inside?
Yeah.
Some are bad and some are good. Well, I shouldn't say good. They
Considering
all,
you're from
except-
1898.
you know, one of the nice things with the old pipe is, though, it's a fairly thick wall because they made them thick back then, so you don't have a lot of corrosion on the outside, so they don't seem to, we do have some breaks on them, but not as many as we do on the say newer, the 30s cast iron. And it depends on where they are in the system, on what the inside looks like. Like when we did East Street, it was about this big on an 8-inch pipe. I want to say Washington Street was pretty open. It has the tuberculation bubbles on the inside, but it wasn't really plugged up. And I didn't see this one, so I don't know what it looked like. But what happens is we get a lot of dirty water complaints in those. And if it's a dead end, it's just never ending. And we have had, this year we've had 3 major leaks.
This seemed like there's been quite a few.
One of them was, and 2 of them were on the asbestos cement pipe, the AC pipe on Littleton Road. One was right across the street from the other one. And I think I know what happened on that. It had something to do with the gas company did a repair many years ago and didn't quite do it right. And that was the one we fixed last week. We did have on Wright Road, we had a water main hit by lightning and blew a hole in the bottom of that. So,
Yeah, one on Westford too, I think it was a Memorial Day weekend. It was a pretty big water main.
let's see, Westford
Yeah.
Road.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. I don't think that was really bad, but it was,
Just timing.
yeah, timing and
Saturday
location.
afternoon.
They're always on main streets. The one last week on Littleton Road, which I actually fell in the hole.
Is that
heard
okay?
that,
Is it one of those where you're just walking and poof, you disappear?
Well, yeah, basically, I went over to look at it, and what had happened, it had washed out the sod underneath, and I just luckily there was a fence there, and I grabbed the fence. But that was, it's pretty interesting. The leak was a hole in the pipe about this long. So what happens is it starts leaking. So it was a coupling, and the coupling rotted away, and it starts leaking there, and it starts with a little, and then it starts eroding the pipe, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally just boom.
Considering this pipe was
And it had
130 years old, it's pretty good grass.
That one had a sewer pipe next to it and a gas main on top of it. So that's why it took a long time to get it fixed. So they were without water for the majority of the day.
In the night, Mark, I don't know what time they got through, but I think it was.
It was about 1 o'clock when they got everybody back
Oh,
to
yeah, I
service.
saw some of the complaints for that one.
Yeah.
Yes, Scott?
I'll make a motion to approve the change order for J. D'Amico in the amount of $10,521.72.
Second. Signature by the chair.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Okay.
The next item, I brought this up a couple of years ago, and there was a lot of discussion about it, and the board never really kind of came to a conclusion on whether they thought this was a good idea. But given the, as most of you probably heard, there was a little problem in the Merrimack Valley with the gas company, and we started thinking about, that was something that no one ever would have expected would happen in our area where we live. And when you think about the impacts on the water and sewer system, so we started thinking about what if that was in air. Number one is they had 60 fires going at the same time. So think about how much water you're pumping out of your system.
Yeah.
I was really surprised they didn't run out of water. And then the other issue is they shut off all the electricity and all the gas. Well, a lot of our wastewater and water run on gas and electricity. So if we lose electricity, the generators, which have natural gas at Central Ave and at our main pumping station and Groton School Road, those stations wouldn't be able to pump.
Right.
So we have this, and then also there was a little hurricane down in Carolinas, which caused a lot of problems. And it's always the water and wastewater is a big part of that problem, is getting that all restored. So the EPA came up with a concept which is a water wastewater agency response network. So it's a mutual aid organization, and once you join that, then you have mutual aid with other communities. For instance, Littleton is involved in it, Groton's involved in it. I'm not sure if Shirley is. And so basically it's an agreement, and there's a whole process for when you need mutual aid, how you call, how you mobilize, who does what. And the agreement basically spells out who's doing what the liabilities are, how it's coordinated, how it's managed. So I think it costs nothing to join, but I think it's be a real benefit to the town to be a member of this in case we do have an emergency.
Right.
So I'm not sure if I did put together a memo that talked about some of the items, benefits, and how it's operated in leadership. So I don't know if you had a chance to read that or have any questions on that.
I guess the only question I would have is what would be the downfall of it?
I don't really know what their
Yeah, no, I mean,
downfall
that's,
is.
yeah,
Right,
it just
yeah.
kind of
It's
seems
like
like
with any mutual aid. I think originally there were this one we had 5 members, and there were some members that were concerned with some of the wording in the contract, and the contract can't be changed. It's a contract that was developed nationally and then tailored for each state, and they don't want each member to go in and change things.
That also causes confusion. So
right,
just out of
so-
curiosity, do you remember what the wording problem was?
I want to say it had to do with liability, but I thought that was
Wait a minute,
pretty
I think-
clear.
I think I'm starting to remember myself.
indemnification.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Flashbacks.
Oh, I have a headache.
Yes, me too. Is Savos, I'm sorry, is Savos still the director?
My understanding is he's
Yeah.
still the president.
Okay.
I know he's moving to Rhode Island fairly soon, so I'm not sure if he's going to stay. But when
So he's still on the board over
Yeah.
there? Okay, good.
so if the board concurs, I have 2 copies of the agreement for signature by the board, and I can fill in the utility information.
I think this is a good idea.
I agree.
You know, one of the the benefits about this also is, if we have an ice storm up here, we're all in the same boat,
Right.
Littleton, Groton, Ayer. But, we can bring people from the Cape to come up and help us, or, from places that aren't affected. So when we had the ice storm, was that like 7 or 8 years ago?
Oh, wait, yeah.
In 2008.
I live in Reading. I didn't have any problems. And I'm talking to my client in Grafton, and he's
You
like,
didn't
I
have
can't get out of my
Unitil.
driveway.
Is it really running?
Like that here too, if I recall.
So one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that the town of Ayer enter into the agreement with the Mass Warren Water Wastewater Agency Response Network as outlined by the superintendent.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair says aye. Sounds like a good idea.
All right, anything else?
Paving? I just had a couple of questions. Are you still paving some roads this week?
Yes, we're starting Washington Street on Tuesday.
Nice.
I'm going to put out a code red and all the other
That was a question I
places.
actually had, and I said, I think
Yeah.
part of Washington is due this year. I just wanted
Yeah,
to
so we're
correct, so I would
doing
ask.
Washington Street from Nashua Street, where we left off last year, down as far as just past Highland. And then we're also going to do Pleasant Street between Howard and Taft. And if I have enough money, I'll do Taft also. We're also, I've got to put a schedule together. We met today to talk about the CDBG grant program. We're going to be redoing all the infrastructure, sidewalks, and paving on Prospect Street and Oak Street. And part of that, we're going to have to pay for some of the paving out of the Chapter 90 money and some of the water main out of our water main money. So we just have to look at where we are with the budgets on that. We do have a town meeting voted an additional $150,000 in paving money, so I should be good to get that done, and I may even have a little bit more to do another street in the spring. If anybody-
Is that going to be this fall? Or?
Oak and Prospect will be in the spring.
That's right, okay.
No, so we'll do Pearl and, Pearl, we'll do, actually I have to do Pearl next year too. So just put the water and drain in there, but we'll do Prospect, Pleasant.
You keep saying the name, and I'm like, no, I mean that.
It's a P word, I knew it was a P word. Pleasant and Washington Street are due for this fall.
Great.
In Washington, we're gonna do new granite curb on both sides. Well, we're gonna reuse where there's existing granite curb. Where there isn't, we're gonna put new granite curb and new sidewalks on both sides.
That's great.
Sounds great.
There's just one more.
Okay.
And how many streetlights are left to be changed? A couple? The high voltage or something? The only reason
There's about a dozen total, except I just got, over the last couple of days, I got notifications of 2 more that I need to check and see what's going on with them. Sometimes with these new controllers, what happens, they become orphans, whatever that means.
There's one out in Central Lab, by the way. I was counting them on the way here.
Okay.
That's
I
why
don't know
he's
if that
late.
one's.
Yeah.
That's why he's late.
Yeah, I don't know if that one's on my
You
list.
couldn't
I'll
see
have
where
to
he was
look.
going.
Yeah.
Let's see. I know there's one on East Main Street. They're scattered around here. And then there's a couple where the utility company goes and replaces the pole and doesn't tell us. So they don't reconnect the light because now the lights are ours. So we just find out when we drive by and say, gee, why is that pole, why is that light not on that pole? So anyway.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. Robert?
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Selectmen, good evening. You have before you the special town meeting warrant for Monday, October 22nd, 2018. And as I was preparing for this evening, it became clear it would make sense to just reduce what I was going to do into sort of a memo guide, which we will also make available to the public. And maybe Carly get one to the reporter. So what's before the board, and I have it up on the screen as well, there are 11 articles proposed for the town meeting, and what I wanted to do, just take a few moments, is to talk about the zoning bylaw amendments. So of the 11 articles, the majority of them, 8 of them, are amendments to the zoning bylaw that was passed in March. And why are things being amended? I'll explain where it was just passed in March, but as many know, zoning is a living thing in progress, and all of the articles that I'm going to just talk about briefly require by statute that the planning board gives a report at town meeting. Now, the planning board won't give the report. It'll be the town planner and the building commissioner who are recommending all of these articles, and they will have some, it'll be short and sweet with some visuals and so forth. They were going to come tonight, but the planner had to have, unfortunately was out unexpectedly, and the building commissioner is away. However, they both would like to come, if the board would like, on October 16th, just to do a brief snapshot. They're also going to the planning board on October 9th to do a presentation in preparation for this. Also, Mr. Archambault is going to do, starting on October 10th, each day on our social media, one of the articles with sort of the bullets of what it is and so forth as sort of a snapshot. We'll also make hard copies of that available. As the board can appreciate, zoning be as quick as possible to prevent one's eyes from glazing over. Some of them are small changes. Okay, so Article 1 is the general bylaw amendment as prepared by the DPW superintendent, and he spoke to the board about this at your last meeting about the street opening and access way permits, and it's pretty straightforward. This article looks to update a very outdated bylaw by putting a very clear, modern, spelled out procedure for that. Article 2, and again on the memo I sort of just put bullets as to what the major changes are. Article 2 seeks to amend a section of the Ayer zoning bylaw, which is the definitions. And as you can see, it puts in there a definition, and these are recommended by the building commissioner and the town planner. It puts in a definition of what an accessory apartment is. This is for clarity. It also further defines what home occupation means. And one of the things we're trying on the definition of the home occupancy issue is that in cases of small home businesses that may have one and maybe two vehicles, that they can move forward through approval from the building commissioner without having to go to the zoning board of appeals. And the reason is to sort of, again, to provide some flexibility without having to go to the ZBA on all of these small matters. They still have to go through the building commissioner. So that's a change there. It also further clarifies some of the definitions in the bylaw. Article 3 is a couple of small amendments to the issue of site plan review. The first one, it goes to show you what a difference just a letter can make. But if you see in the article under number 4, it adds a single family or a two-family dwelling. Any use requiring a special permit except that where a single family or a two-family dwelling requires a special permit, site plan review shall not apply. So as the board can appreciate, site plan review is a process and there are costs to it, as there should be. What we're proposing is that in terms of site plan, if it is under a special permit, which gives the town a level of control on this, if it's a meaning single family or two family, they don't have to go to site plan review. Again, we're looking to try to provide some flexibility on the smaller projects. Also, you'll see under B, exceptions. Number 3, pre-existing non-conforming multifamily structures adding 4 or fewer additional parking spaces do not have to go bylaw has been approved, and as the board can appreciate, many of these older structures were built on very small lots, in the bylaw as written took into account only new construction. So this again allows some flexibility on that issue. Article 4 is a complete amend section 3.5 of the Ayer zoning bylaw. It's a complete new section that the building commissioner and the town planner are recommending, because now this section now defines how the number of units in residential developments is calculated for the purposes of site plan review. Mr. Archambault found that after the town's consultant that had worked with the planning board for years on this, for whatever reason, this had been overlooked, so there was nothing in the bylaw that spells out for the building commissioner or the planning board how you calculate the number of units in residential developments for site plan review. Article 5 is additional requirements for certain types of development, again, recommended by the building commissioner. For example, amends it so that an unroofed porch is a deck and should not be exempt from the frontage. Provides flexibility in the placement of accessory structures contingent upon building and fire department approval, as you can see under 6.3G. So what this is, again, in many of the smaller lot sizes in sort of the downtown area and so forth, this allows some flexibility to put a deck or so forth on there, but allows, again, a control from the building department and the fire department. Allows some encroachment on a setback for a deck. It further defines what a deck is, as you can see highlighted. Then Article 6 pertains to Section 10.1.3, which is open space in open space residential developments. And so, one is the bylaw was lacking a definition of what types of land are calculated in the 50% open space requirement. So, under the bylaw as it is, a potential project has the whole parcel of new construction, 50% has to be open space. But what happens when that parcel has, say, certified wetlands or a huge slope or so forth? How do you calculate that into it? So what it does is it allows to, in cases of actual wetlands or steep slopes, up to 25% of the parcel has those wetlands or slopes, it will allow 25% of that open space to take that into account as well. So again, it's more of a planning issue in terms of open space development. Again, the bylaw was silent on it. This further defines it and does provide a mechanism to take into account some lots that may have wetlands or steep slopes to make that 50% open space. Article 7 gets into the issue of dwellings. Specifically, you can see it. There's the strike-through of language. Those is largely as the building commissioner went through this with the planner. A lot of this is redundant language that's being stricken for consistency in there. One of the main changes is that it increases the percentage of gross floor area of sheds and other outbuildings from 10% to 20%. So again, if it's a non-conforming single-family or two-family dwelling with a gross floor area is under 1,500 square feet, the way the bylaw read now, 10% of the dwelling's gross floor area, the building commission is recommending we increase it to 20%. Again, that's to allow some flexibility for outbuildings on said lots. Article 8 is off-street parking standards. It's section 9.15, and what you see there, it will allow parking within the 8-foot setback for existing multifamily dwellings as they were built on small lots. So again, taking into account a lot of the neighborhoods up behind Town Hall and sort of the more historic areas where things were built on smaller lots, allowing some off-street parking standards through the amendment. Article 9, it gets into the issue of accessory uses. So think of an accessory use, as Charlie explained to me, as like an in-law apartment. Article 9 was originally going to be part of the zoning bylaw in March. The building commissioner actually pulled it because he wanted to do some more research and due diligence on accessory uses, which he and the land use group did over the summer. So this Article 9 spells out the specifics as to an accessory use. An accessory apartment is subject to the following requirements. There was nothing in the bylaw. This proposes to put the guidance in the bylaw. So those are the zoning articles. Originally, it was going to be one giant article, and then as we looked at it, talked to town council, other communities as well, it's been split up sort of to try to give it some organization for the purposes of town meeting. Article 10 is an accept a gift of land. The article, if passes, would authorize the Board of Selectmen to accept a parcel of land, which I put up on the screen on Hemlock Drive. So the Ridgeview development is up there. Hemlock Drive is that cul-de-sac on the right there. And so originally, what the town was given this parcel C, which was
Landlocked?
Pardon? It was landlocked. It became landlocked because the planning board allowed them to extend, through a subdivision, allowed them to extend the drive, which made this landlocked. So this gives it access. So the Article 10 would be to take, they're going to give the parcel, but so it has access off of Hemlock. And it's to be in conformance with a subdivision amendment done by the planning board quite some time ago. So that's the blue parcel is Article 10.
What benefit is that for the town?
Well, I think the benefit is the majority of the parcel was gifted to us before, but then the planning board amended the whole subdivision, extending the road, and I don't want to.
So the planning board under the bus, that's okay.
So then it created a landlocked parcel. So then through town council, myself, with Ridgeview, to get so we at least have access. Now, it's town land, as you can see, there's nothing there, but we don't want.
So, I'm sorry, so this is just the access gift?
Yes,
The land
yes,
to access the property?
yep,
Got it.
yeah.
All right, I'm sorry.
So we're sort of correcting, if you will, a subdivision amendment that created a landlocked situation.
And what planning board was this? This is last year's?
Oh, this was a few years back.
Under the same chairman that was last year?
Maybe not.
I'd have to check.
I might be able to add to it, I'm just guessing, but
Yeah.
this phase, the so-called Phase 4, which is where
Yeah.
that new cul-de-sac is, it was originally a loop road,
Yes.
and there were some changes in the wetlands delineation, so they had to relay out the road structure. So this ended up becoming a cul-de-sac, and Woodland Way became the loop road. So I think probably, and I'm not positive where everything is, but probably this parcel was accessed when Hemlock went around the loop.
Yeah.
And when they created the cul-de-sac, it cut it off so that you couldn't access it.
Is this down by Taft, the end of Pleasant?
No.
No.
This is up in Pingree.
Pingree.
Oh, Hemlock.
Could we go through the chair once in a while? Just be nice, Mark, organize, thank you.
I'm hidden behind the chair.
All right, this-
Yeah, I know, and I was just about to when you started talking.
So, Madam Chair, so that's Article 10. And then Article 11, which ties into sort of part of my report. So let me, all right, so the issue, Article 11, as the board is aware, the school committee has called an election to incur the debt for the athletic field. And everything that we're going to talk about tonight, I want to make clear that the October 6th election is scheduled on that issue. It's live, it's happening. Issues have been raised regarding the debt exclusion piece for both towns. And so recently it was some challenges were brought up in Shirley to the issue of the timing of the debt exclusion question. Make a long story short, because I do want to have the town clerk to come up and talk. The purpose of Article 11 is that on August 15th, when the school committee voted to do the borrow, there was an amendment made to that motion in the borrowing that the committee agrees not to execute a financial vehicle to fund the athletic fields complex without specific approval by town meeting in both Ayer and Shirley. So, and the motion was approved 5-0. So what that says is that assuming if the project passes and the debt exclusion passes, town meeting also has to authorize it. So that's what this article is. It's specific language that takes into account, because it's different, it's different language than we had in the sense, because we were unaware of the friendly amendment that passed. So this would, voters, town meeting, if they vote, this is to authorize, this is to meet this district's requirement that both town meetings have approved to incur the debt.
No, that was basically to protect the taxpayers, right? Because then they have a vehicle to go around that and still force the borrow without town meeting approval. So I mean, it's not a bad thing for the town.
So they adopted the section N of the statute, and through their discussions, there was an amendment made because there were members of the school committee that felt that the voters on the financing, and even though it's up to each town, it needs to go through town meeting as opposed to just the debt exclusion ballot. Because, and this was also confusion, under this particular statute, which we've never used before on this, the debt exclusion only has to pass the ballot. Now, we recently learned this from town council and so forth, and we've been out there doing it as we've always done the debt exclusion, which is it passes the ballot, passes town meeting. And there was a lot of miscommunication in the parties that were involved in Ayer and Shirley and School District. So if you will, the school committee, whether they knew it or not, through this motion, is ensuring that it has to pass town meeting. So under the letter of the law, under this section N, a debt exclusion just has to pass the ballot, not the two-part that we're all used to. But everybody assumed, and we know what they say about that word, assumed that it was a two-part process. Technically, it wasn't, but by their action, it sort of does make it a two-part process.
Okay, but the wording in this makes it look like we're going to have town meeting and then we're going to have an election.
I mean,
That's the way I'm reading it. And wasn't there another issue?
It's Shirley, right? But I'm declaring it
Yeah.
so why don't we,
shocking.
because this is tied into through the chair, the election update, why don't we talk about the whole issue instead of trying to piecemeal it?
That'd be
Okay.
best.
And is there any objection if I just ask the clerk to join us?
No.
Is she, Madam Clerk? Okay. So.
Hi.
None of this, let me just preface by saying this, and none of this is meant as any type of excuses. It's a reality of the context that we're operating in. We're all trying to do the correct thing, all being Ayer, Shirley, and the district in terms of this. This is a new statute, this section N, to all of us. So this is where we stand as of tonight. On August 15th, the regional school district voted to call an election to incur the debt for the field project. We all know that. There were no issues with that. They transmitted that, the clerk has prepared that. That election is been called and is scheduled, is for Saturday, October 6th, from 8 to 4. There were no issues. People are voting as we speak. At that same time, the decision was made that, well, we need to have a financing mechanism for the town's portion of the debt, if it passes. If it passes. So, as we've done in the past, it only seemed to make sense, though it can be somewhat confusing, to have a debt exclusion ballot run at the same time. The reason for that is voters would be looking at the project, voters would be looking at the financing. Now, as the Board of Selectmen know, the debt exclusion is a town ballot, each town, Ayer and Shirley. Additionally, the district is paying for the election. It made sense without having to have a separate election to have that. Also, everybody, and there was miscommunication, misunderstanding from councils on both sides, that this was a two-part debt exclusion like we always did. So hence we were telling folks that there'll be the ballot, and then we would take this up at the town meeting, a two-part process. Well, that isn't the case under Section N, as we learned late in the game. Under Section N, it's just a ballot on debt exclusion. However, through that amendment I mentioned, the school committee had made an amendment that it had to be approved by both town meetings. Now that is somewhat of an anomaly. When I talk to our bond council, the district's bond council, usually you don't do something like that, but the district has made that a requirement, that they want both town meetings to discuss it, vote on it. When we did the debt exclusion, everything was moving forward. There was some questions raised in Shirley about the timing of the calling of the debt exclusion question. So the August 15th was the beginning of the 35-day clock for the school. There's no issue. Unfortunately, if you, as town council reviewed it, the Board of Selectmen in Shirley called the debt exclusion election on September 10th, and this board on September 11th. Nobody was thinking, because everything has been put together, that that's a separate 35-day notice. It's not part of the school. So if you count from September 11th, in our case, to October 6th, it falls short of the 35 days. There was a potential remedy to that. It's a ministerial issue in the sense, and I think it's important to be clear that everything is correct with the ballots, everything, it's the issue of the notice, of the timing. But that is what it says in the laws, 35 days, and neither town met it on the debt exclusion. That issue was raised in Shirley, and we looked into a mechanism to preserve that, and there is one. It's not guaranteed, but what it would be is that if the debt exclusion vote passed, though there's a deficiency in the notice, you can file legislation with the state to have the governor certify the results. And that does happen more than you'd think. So in other words, whatever the vote is, the governor could certify it. Shirley, the Board of Selectmen in Shirley decided that they wanted to cancel the election and start over on the debt exclusion because the notice hadn't been met. In talking, Ms. Copeland and I, with our council, if we move forward with the debt exclusion part for the town and we file for the special legislation, it is believed that the election won't be certified because, one, the 35-day notice wasn't met. But more importantly, this is basically, even though they're separate town ballots, it's a regional effort, and the other town has canceled the debt exclusion because of the notice. And if we move forward, it's doubtful that the result will get certified. So what are the options? Again, I want to make it crystal clear, and we will continue to do this, that the election on Saturday is going to happen. Absentee ballots are being submitted to the town clerk, and there is no issue with the school question or the school ballot. And there's no issue with the debt exclusion except for the issue of the notice. So the options are that the Air Board of Selectmen could proceed with the debt exclusion ballot. However, we've been advised that the likelihood of the state certifying it due to the fact that Shirley has canceled it will be slim to none. Or the selectmen could cancel the debt exclusion election. If that happens, by law, Ms. Copeland tomorrow has to send a specific letter to all of the absentee ballots explaining to them that the debt exclusion has been canceled, not the project ballot, and that we will have to call a debt exclusion election. Looking at the schedule, the earliest would be in December, based on the other elections and so forth. It's unfortunate in this sense. Again, I think, and through the chair, if the town clerk, through the chair would like to add, it's our recommendation that the selectmen cancel the debt exclusion election for Saturday. Ms. Copeland notify all of the absentee ballots of that. We proceed with the election to incur the debt on Saturday, which is happening in both towns from 8 to 4, no matter what. And that the two towns will select a date for the debt exclusion in December is the earliest we can do it. And Article 11 would meet the borrowing requirement that the school committee has imposed through their vote.
Anybody else have a headache?
Yeah, I got a headache. I got a headache when I found out about it this afternoon. So, first of all, oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sure, if I could just add a few more pieces to that. It's, just to be clear, it's the debt exclusion ballot question is what is being, the election
Correct.
is being canceled because while the warrant has been approved for our town, but for Shirley, they do have the article on their warrant, their town meeting warrant that is a week before our town meeting. So that is why you kind of start the process all over again. And my suggestion in speaking with Robert is that we first see if the field project is approved, because that is going to be yes or no whether we're moving forward with the debt exclusion process. So it's if it's a no, it's a no. We halt and wait for the school committee to reassess and how they're going to handle it. If it's a yes, okay, so how do we proceed? So we do the question first and have that pass through town meeting. And at that time, I mean, just last year with the marijuana, when it was passed, we had to have a two-step process. So my suggestion is we see what the result is of the town meeting, and at that point we can call the election to ensure there's the 35-day window, and just trying to hopefully have both towns in balance. But with that 35 days after our town meeting, the 22nd, you're looking at the last week in November. That's why it pushes it out like, and that's right after Thanksgiving's later. So it's like trying to consider all these things when you're looking at the calendar of how it all falls, and barring any recounts again. Just kidding. That's the window. So that's why when you say December, it seems far away. But really, when you're looking at the timeline of election, town meeting, and doing this the right way, that's why we say December, because really it's that last week in November, December 1st. So that's just why I just wanted to explain it's just this constant moving parts. So that's also the pieces of it as well. So
and then I'll let Chris speak. First of all, mistakes happen, okay? And obviously, there were a lot of hands that saw this error. I guess my biggest question is at what point did town council look at this and not have the light bulb come on? Because it's their job to make sure that everything is done right. And so right now, I'm actually mad at town council because I fully understand what happened. You know, it all made sense. You know, the school wants to take this to election. We need to do this funding. Hey, this is the next time both Shirley and Ayer Board of Selectmen are going to meet. You know, we set up an election. It all makes sense. Except town council is supposed to look at the information that's being brought to them and realize that it was two separate questions. In our mind, it all made sense, even though there were two ballots. And the reason why it was two ballots is because Shirley has to word their ballot their way, and we had to word ours our way for the debt exclusion. But at what point this is, I think, like the third time I can think of, just in the past year, that this has happened. So my message to town council is, I get it, you want to be fast, but speed with discipline. And these 11th hour things that keep cropping up, cease. When they go to look at this stuff, I expect them to look at it, and when they give us the decision, okay, and not come back at the 11th hour, right before town meeting, right before an election, go, oh, darn, we missed something. Because as far as I'm concerned, and they may feel the same way, at the very least, they owe us a massive credit.
We should put it out to bid. Done.
Well,
We never do it.
They have
So have I, yeah.
just-
It just never seems to happen.
it has gotten worse. It has gotten worse,
That'll get their attention.
and enough is enough. Their job is to look at this stuff. Their job is to know the law. Their job is to advise correctly. And this town pays them a pretty decent salary, and I don't think we're asking too much. Chris, you had your hand up.
Well said.
Thank you.
I agree.
I've actually been on a roll all day long.
I agree. I think we should discuss putting that up to bid when it's up to, again, the contract. But did the clown show down the street give us any warning of what they were going to do with their ballot? Or
I'm sorry,
the clown show over here, that's Shirley, I believe it's called. Did they actually ask us what they were going to do or anything like that?
Selectman Hillman, my new colleague, Mr. McGovern, it was the end of last week, like Friday, contacted me that there was rumblings that there was a challenge to the notice over there, and he had expressed to me his concern that his board may cancel the election, even though I talked with him at length, and for the record, they have the same counsel we do, different attorney, but they have KP law as well, was trying to find a solution which would have been the certification by the state, which happens quite a bit. That would have been, but the Shirley Board of Selectmen last night canceled the election, so that our chances of getting it certified.
Just to clarify, the election or
Oh,
just the
yes,
debt
thank you.
ballot?
Just the
thank you,
debt
that's
ballot, yeah.
You keep saying that, I keep
Yeah.
panicking.
We have to
So
be careful with that.
Yeah, let
too,
me-
the election is still happening on
For the
Saturday, October 6th,
For the field.
for the field. No,
For the
but
field.
there's only going to be one question instead of two.
We'll have something put out tomorrow.
Yes. And
Keep it simple.
I-
No, move on.
to my colleague's credit, and maybe some of you have seen it, he had, they prepared a statement, and surely that's because they've already canceled it. And we've reviewed it, and the statement, I think for consistency, if the board decides, you haven't decided, if you decide to a vote to cancel the election, we.
The debt exclusion.
The debt exclusion, I'm
The
sorry.
ballot- The ballot question.
The town ballot, say
The
town
town ballot, yes, for the record, the town ballot. And this is a big concern, I appreciate, that the district has, we have, that the election is still on for the field project. It's the issue of the town ballot, that we issue the same statement in all forms, if that's the case, so there's consistency.
Do we have to issue a statement? Can't we just go to vote on the fields?
I think you need to
Well, we've
clarify
got
why
a
you're canceling the
Yeah,
ballot.
the school ballot is still, that's the field project, so that's voting yes or no about the project. It's the town ballot, which is the debt
Yeah,
exclusion
no,
part,
I'm
the
just concerned that
mechanism.
that message, as Janice says, is gonna get out there, and people are gonna go, oh, we're not doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's confusing enough. When you guys are explaining it to me, I'm so confused. That the message gets out there that there's still a ballot question on Saturday.
Right, especially since we keep wording it as an election.
I was gonna ask you, well, the board in general, obviously, do you think we should do a code red to explain that the election is still on? That's a useful tool we have.
That's actually not a bad idea.
We
is
do
to
it for town
the code red
meetings
is to remind
anyway.
it, just simple
Yeah.
message,
Yeah,
show up and vote
Remind
on
the
the
vote.
field question.
yeah.
And don't talk about anything else, just
Right.
remind them.
There's an
Yeah.
election Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When, where?
We'll,
Yes, Scott.
we'll tee that up.
So I have a question, listening through all that explanation. So the school committee invoked or put the amendment on saying that they won't incur the debt unless town meetings approves. So if it passes town meeting, does that mean that they're going to move forward even before the debt exclusion ballots are put forward to the voters?
It's an ex,
Technically, from reading and listening to it, that could occur.
it's, through the chair, it's an excellent question. As I understand it, and my understanding comes from,
Town council?
no, it comes from, comes from, my understanding is,
Better call a lawyer and check it out.
I want a second opinion.
my understanding comes in speaking at length with Dr. Malone and our representatives, the school committee, and the gentleman that made the motion, Mr. Quinty, and it passed 5-0. Their standard is it must pass the ballot and the town meeting article before they will proceed, because there is no funding in place. But it's a very good question, because we're concerned that both have to pass in both towns before they proceed. So if the project is approved, financing has to be in place in both towns, and the school committee has made the requirement that it has to be approved by town meeting and obviously the ballot.
Yes.
I guess the other comments I'll make out of frustration, which I think some of us are feeling up here, is that, with Shirley dropping off without really consulting us, since this is supposed to be an agreement and a collaborative effort, they've kind of forced our hand to make this decision. And I've been saying it for years. I said since regionalization, the biggest problem with regionalization was dealing with Shirley, and it just keeps rearing its ugly head. And it's incredibly frustrating that they didn't even reach out to the Ayer Board of Selectmen to discuss this.
And maybe moving forward, when these big projects come up, we're gonna have to have some collaborative meetings, maybe with both boards. And I know it's
We
painful.
could,
Well,
but
we
you
used to
know
do
what?
that.
But you know what? It could happen. We could have all met tonight together, either here or over there. And,
No, but the
no, it still means, using a different date, not having the election this Saturday, but I mean, we could have all met, we'll say on September 11th together, and then they decided to, on a meeting, their regular meeting, to just all of a sudden bring it up, so we would have still been, I'm not disputing the idea,
No, I
but
know, it's just
they could have
another
still done it.
tool for them and their finance committee to derail.
Whereas,
where
let's
they
be honest,
just-
here, we would have been saying, how is this going to affect Shirley? Because we're the nice one, ironically.
I wish we could just throw them out of the thing altogether, but I guess we can't do that. But it's just overwhelmingly frustrating that everything ends up like this, and we end up picking up pieces. We can go to regional dispatch, we can go to the whole regional agreement, we can go to everything. It's just maddening.
over petty stuff.
Oh,
Let it go to the
yeah.
ballot, let your citizens decide what your opinion is, so be
Exactly.
it.
And it's same thing with the dollar sign, because something they can't afford.
Yeah, like I said, I've said this many times, if it was up to them, they would have mandatory homeschooling, so there'd be no school budget. Because everything that comes up is absolutely against, and it's just maddening. That's my tangent on
These are the
neighboring
things I
towns.
wish we would love.
Stop it, you two.
Does anybody disagree?
The student reporters are back.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, some things just hit the absurdity that you gotta laugh.
Yep, sorry.
Just one final, so the recommendation from both of you is that we do cancel the town ballot for the 6th.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yes.
No, I agree.
Do we need
Which
a
adds
vote?
cost.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, so I guess who pays for all of that? Is
Surely.
The school committee picking up the tab if we cancel the ballot? Since it was technically a school election, or is that?
Or is that,
Or is it our
Separate.
fault?
or is that one
completely
because it's
separate?
a town ballot?
Town council should pick it up.
That's a good point.
They're paying for this one anyway, I believe, right?
Well, they're paying for the election, but if we have to, we go to have the debt exclusion, that's a town ballot.
It's the
I
same-
would say it's on
Same
us.
cost for you, whether it's one question or two, right? You still have to
Oh,
do everything all over again.
Same person.
Yeah.
Personnel and
yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
I will begrudgingly make a motion to cancel the town ballot at the October 6th, 2018 election.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
And you guys can put that out in a manner that everybody still knows to show up on Saturday to vote for the
Yep.
project.
We'll put something up tomorrow, like a statement, and then we'll do a code red, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, any
I do it
feedback?
Thursday.
Because I would say
Thursday.
that probably 70% of the people who are going to vote think they're just coming to vote on the project. You know what I mean? You get
Anyway.
into that second question,
Yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah.
well, what is this?
Yeah.
Yep, so we'll
Yeah.
word it as simply as possible.
And
Right.
Thank you.
Thursday, we'll do the
Yeah.
code red.
And through the chair, the clerk by statute will be sending a letter tomorrow to all of the absentee ballots on record, just explaining that the debt exclusion ballot,
Mhm.
that has been canceled. The other ballot is live and valid.
So that they wouldn't be valid, absentee ballots would not be valid if you held on to them, right? You can't, they'd have to vote again.
Yeah, I can't, right,
Okay.
because of the
Because you
date.
changed the date.
Yep.
Yeah, and so forth. So what will happen, just to clarify, so now with these ballots tomorrow, the town ballots, the absentee town ballots, or the ones that have not been used, we'll be sealing them and signing off. Both Lori and I will sign off that they are sealed and dated and put into the vault, as well as any of the absentee ballots that we have received. Those will be counted with a report. We have to seal that, sign off on that. That's in the vault. And then any that continue to come in, we'll continue to receive them or record that we've received them, but they will also be sealed in the vault and not away from materials for the school ballot. So I've already separated out the bins and everything to accommodate that. So they're still accounted for, and if anybody, and I'll have copies of anything, so if anybody wants to verify it, we'll have it.
If possible, as people are like, zipping through town hall on Saturday to vote, can we have a flyer somewhere to remind them to come back for town meeting?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then at town meeting, can we have a flyer to tell them that, that the next election's coming up?
Yep.
It's a lot of trees.
Yep.
There was something else I was going to add for a flyer for town meeting, but I can't remember, so we'll discuss that at the next one. We'll just keep adding on.
Sure thing.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Susan.
So then that, through the chair, that brings us back to the warrant, which we're,
Oh, we hadn't finished that.
Going back to the warrant.
That's right.
yeah.
Warrant.
Okay. All right, so
Entertained it.
the part I was coming to, yeah, because it was, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, can you go back to Article 11?
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
So it does work if we cancel the ballot for Saturday.
All right, so, I heard the vote, that the vote taken thereafter shall be expressly contingent upon approval by the voters of town at an election. Okay, so the way it's worded is now saying, and yep, you guys are gonna vote, and then you're gonna come back for the election. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Okay,
And to Selectman Hood's point, it is the understanding that until it passes town meeting and that ballot, there is, that is the standard for the school committee to proceed.
correct.
Which is unfortunate for everybody, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, one question. I was gonna make ask for an amendment at the beginning, I was 3 minutes late, as I usually am.
3 minutes, seriously.
I tried.
Make it 5, just one.
I don't wanna speed.
Like a Christmas gift or something. Make
Should,
it-
I kind of look into this, should us as the board express or take a vote on in favor or not in favor of the project? I know other towns have, I looked at Littleton, what's the other one, Gardner maybe?
I know that generally, I can guarantee a town meeting will be asked what the Board of Selectmen think, because there's usually 1 or 2 people who are.
No, I just meant before the ballot question, I'm asking.
No, I agree.
Whether I don't know. how
The ballot question as far as the field project, or the ballot
Well,
question as far
before
as the debt?
Saturday, should we, I guess it should have been brought up before, sorry, I kind of popped in late today, but should we express our yay or nay before the ballot question, or wait till town meeting? I know we're going to speak out on the town meeting, I'm just saying, following other protocol from other towns, the board has even said we're in favor of the project, or we're not in favor of the
Well, I
project.
think we have individually on the board, but I mean, if you,
I'm asking your opinion, I don't.
I think we
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, I do too, I
definitely
just think, whether people care what we think, probably not, but not that it really matters, I'm just saying for the purposes of taking the vote, unlike, the town next door that just subtly tries to derail things behind the scenes, at least we can have an opinion. So I don't know if you want to do that later, or.
so did you want to take a vote to?
No, I'm just
Don't you
saying-
want to approve the warrant and then you make a, and
It's
then,
completely up to you, but I'm
and
just
then-
asking.
do you want to then make a motion to support the project?
Well,
Is
yeah,
that what you're
yeah,
saying?
Yeah, I think we're. on
Okay,
the
so
same
let's
page. Yeah,
look
that's
at
what-
the town warrant
However you want
and,
to do it is fine.
and then, so the one on the screen,
Whether we support it or don't support it, I'm just saying we should vote.
right.
Okay, so we're
do
gonna
the
take a
town
vote
warrant
after we
first.
vote
Yes,
on
yes,
the
yes,
warrant.
yes.
Okay,
I'm so
so-
confused by debt concurrence and I don't even know.
Yeah, you're making me dizzy.
Yeah, I know. I'm over
Okay,
there.
so, just to clarify to anybody looking at the packet and looking on the screen, in
Yes.
case anyone pays attention.
Article
will in 7 days.
11.
The one on the screen is the correct version. It's slightly different than the one in the packet because Article 11 is definitely different. On that note,
Yeah.
I make a motion that the, what the heck is this, the town warrant for, the town meeting for October 22nd be approved.
Special.
Special town meeting on October 22nd be approved as amended here tonight.
I'll second.
Oh, all those
You
in
have to
favor?
call the vote now.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye. Town meeting warrant is approved.
We're going now?
No, because now you wanted to come up with
Discuss the project.
the,
So I didn't
so,
really want to discuss
There's
it per se, I just,
10 of them.
10 of them right now?
Yeah.
so did you want to make a motion to ask, to say, to
I just didn't
the,
know if we wanted to have any small discussion or just vote that we're in favor or not in favor of the project. And I'm just going on other communities, it's just what their boards have done. Some people probably pay attention to this. Some
well, I
people
mean, we kind of discussed it before, so, but we can do a vote, or I'll just individually say, I support the project. And I hope everyone votes and supports the project. Do you want to have a vote?
don't. Sure.
It's like, okay.
I make a motion that the Air Board of Selectmen adopt to, or vote to, I don't want to put it,
Endorse.
endorse the field project as set forth by the regional school district.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
would you guys like a statement on the social media? How do you want to get it out there? Put it on the website? Do you want it in the newspaper?
We have an
You're funny.
Part of
Yeah.
the Flyers thing. This is
Yeah. I just want to make sure that we properly get out what you just
You
voted.
could, I would say social media.
Okay.
Would be fine.
All right, cool.
Will this meeting air before Saturday? Because we're not live.
I have asked that this
Yes.
video be posted as soon as possible tomorrow on October, what day is it, 3rd, so that people can watch it and find out what happened tonight.
All right.
All right, Robert, continuing on.
All right. So you have in your packet all of the warrants that were reviewed and approved since the board's last meeting. Just very briefly, under an administrative update, last Tuesday, September 25th, we did the municipal budgeting and setting the tax rate forum at the library. I wanted to thank Tom Hogan and Lisa Gabri publicly for joining me in the library for the hospitality. I thought that the presentation went very well. I know later under new business we'll be discussing public outreach, which I think is timely because if you take out the department heads that attended, there were 4 residents in attendance at the forum, which was unfortunate based on I thought it went well, it was informative, a lot of work went into it, but we can discuss that later.
Business owners to come?
No.
Quick,
Yeah, sorry.
okay,
I am,
2
sorry.
things. One quick question.
Yeah.
What time was the tax thing had like?
It was at 7.
Okay, so I do know that there are problems with some people
Mhm.
driving at night. So is there a possibility of being able to do another one maybe at a different time? And
Yep.
second thing, last year, some of the business owners said that they had to, be personally invited. So somebody could maybe go personally invite them. I don't know why they need to be personally invited, but please make sure that they're personally invited.
Okay.
Remember last year they said that?
I think that was more the
We're-
former economic.
we're
director
buying,
went out and said, "Come
Carrier
protest that."
pigeons. And put a line in the
That's what
budget.
that was
Also, just quickly, the capital budget process is underway. The directive went out on October the 1st. All departments have till November 2nd to update their capital plans. Timely, the discussion under public input earlier. The message continues to be sent that, the 5-year plans are in place. We understand there may be some update, but there are a lot of projects out there, and it's going to be a tighter year.
Catch up here, maybe?
Yeah, so those will close on November 2nd, and then the Capital Planning Committee will commence their first meeting that first Wednesday in December, and we'll start that process. I do want to mention that I am been told, though I have not received a formal response to the letter that I sent to the MBTA and to the Secretary of Transportation, I have been told through Senator Eldridge that they are aware of the letter. I'm also told.
It's been logged.
So, yes, so
That's the best you can do.
No, not
so,
yet. Hold on.
the other piece is that they are aware of our platform requests, specifically with the fencing and screening, and Alan has done all of the measurements and so forth. So this is what we're told. We continue to stress, A, we need a formal response, and B, the selectmen would like to meet with the general manager and the Secretary of Transportation, and it's not too much to ask both individuals to come an hour west to Ayer. So we will continue to up that ante. And I've said to the delegation, as Ms. Antonellis has, also to Mark, that this is serious business, and we've had no formal response. As Ms. Antonellis mentioned, the fact that it's been logged is just, I find, insulting. So,
Well, that's where
yeah.
Representative Harrington and Benson's usually good, so I
Yeah.
shouldn't say that, and Senator Eldridge
It's an election year.
need to
Yeah.
amp
Yes,
it up
so
on our behalf.
we want a meeting.
Yeah. So, Madam Chair, if I may, I did talk to Senator Eldridge, and I spoke with his chief of staff today. They've talked to the legislative contact, which each state agency has. they're aware there's been some changes, some subtle changes down there so far. They're aware, they seem to indicate that the fence was gonna be
Yeah.
no problem. And I said, well, that's news to us, so before they put a fence up, they need to contact us. So they have repainted the yellow pylons, which are still crooked, but they have a new paint job. Our
Small steps.
Good idea. Our DPW has taken, there was all these old newspaper, you put your quarter in. No, there hasn't been a newspaper in it in 5 years that I've been around, so.
And it
they-
hasn't been a quarter for a long time either.
They took those out. So the Secretary's office is aware of the letter. They will be issuing something formal. Senator Eldridge did contact the Secretary directly and said that this issue was not going away. So
And we
we
want to
remain
meet.
hopeful, but it's the MBTA. It's going to take a little bit.
And you CC'd everybody on that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And nothing from Songus
The amount of CCs was longer than the letter.
Yeah.
It's amazing these people, they just send a nasty gram and they don't respond. You send a nice worded letter, which was well written, and it's filed.
It's gotta be a nice passive aggressive letter.
Oh, you love.
So we will
I'll
keep
write one.
you updated
You're
on
not
that.
passive aggressive.
The water,
That's my area of expertise.
the water and sewer rate,
John and I will collaborate.
Aggressive,
yeah.
passive. I can see it now.
the Water and Sewer Rate Review Committee will meet on October 17th at 3:30 PM. Thank you, Selectman Livingston, for the reminder. We're supposed to be meeting quarterly, so we'll be back on schedule and more to report from that. I have Mr. Attorney Tom Gibson, the head of the Middlesex County Retirement Board, would like to meet with the board briefly at your October 16th meeting, along with Mr. Johnston and Ms. Tierney, to just talk about the Middlesex Retirement Assessment. There's been some changes in the assessment, and any questions the board may have, that's for the 16th. I'm pleased to report that our new treasurer, Ms. Tierney, has put in place an aggressive plan addressing tax title. She's already begun to collect tax title, and I'd like to have her come maybe depending on what the schedule looks like, come at a future meeting and just give a brief update to the board directly about the tax title, which I think is important, and some of the things she's already put in place, which I think are to the benefit of the town. Lastly, on October 1st, we submitted a grant application for $50,000 for the ADA, the American with Disability Act, which is one of our goals for this year, process, and I think we're in good shape, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear, but things are moving forward. So that's sort of a snapshot since we last met, and if there aren't any specific questions, you can start into the action items.
What is the meeting schedule in November? Is the election? The election's the 1st, right? Tuesday is the 5th, right?
Yes, so,
6th.
so
So we're not meeting that day.
we,
usually.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to have, through the chair, if that's the case, the board will have to pick a different date because the election is underway, the general election.
And I will not be present for the month of November. So
Right. We'll miss you.
Doesn't happen.
You'll be over.
Hopefully it's still alive.
So in the interest of time, through the chair, why don't,
Yeah, and we can just prop you up.
You can just, weekend attorneys.
we'll prepare some options for the board to discuss on October 16th for the November schedule.
You know, we could look at, maybe that Wednesday. Just throw it.
Yeah, yep.
I think we did that a few years ago, too. We did that on Wednesday or something.
Yeah.
because of the election.
And then you're not with us, so we can
That-
actually maybe
that's-
meet earlier, depending on his schedule.
That's actually Diwali that day.
Okay.
Diwali.
So the first action item, Madam Chair, as the board has, the board received a letter from the chairman of the Neshoba Valley Technical School District requesting that the board consider voting to designate the members of the Neshoba Valley Technical School Board as special municipal employees. And if there is an objection, Madam Chair, I know that our representative, Mr. Chris Prell, was kind enough to come, and he actually came to see me right when the letter arrived as well, so I appreciate that, and he can
Hey,
probably...
Chris, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Hit the ground running, didn't you?
I sure did.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
So with this, we're asking that you designate myself and my alternate as a special town employee. This all became about one of the members of the school committee who works for an organization that is involved with the town that she works with, found that there may be a conflict with that. So with that, we went back and looked and found that in each community, there needs to be, designate us members as special town employees. As of right now, 5 out of the 8 communities have voted yes on it. We're tonight, and I think either Pepperell or Townsend is tonight, and then after that, it's Pepperell or Townsend that has to vote for it. So as of now, what I've been hearing from the superintendent, each community has passed it without a problem at all. And I think Robert has looked into the law also. We've had conversation, and he said it's a no-brainer.
Okay. Town council didn't come up with anything.
no,
We call private counsel.
Once we approve it, they'll come back at next meeting and say that we shouldn't have approved it, and then we'll have to rescind it and regroup.
Our counsel at Neshoba looked at it also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there's the second opinion.
So-
For the Conservation Commission, remember when
yes.
she was covering and we were
Yeah.
trying to figure out a mechanism?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
No problem. Scott?
If there's no objections, I'll make a motion to designate school committee representatives of the Neshoba Valley Technical High School as special municipal employees pursuant to MGL C268A Section 1N.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
Thank you very much for your support.
Yeah.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you again.
Chris, would you just need a letter?
Yes, that would be great. If you
And we
could
can just send it to Dr. Pigeon?
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks for sticking around.
Thank you.
The next item is a one-day beer and wine permit for St. Mary's Parish.
I have the details if you'd. They're having their annual Oktoberfest supper on Saturday, October 27th from 5. It starts at 5, so they're requesting one day beer and wine only from 4:30 to 9:30.
Can we specify the hours of the day that they can serve?
Yep.
Do we get down to that level of
Yeah, and it
detail?
expires at 9:31
Okay.
p.m.
Drinking against the deadline. I'll make a motion to approve a beer and wine license for St. Mary's Parish for Saturday, October 27th, between 4:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye.
All right.
Have to remember to go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, make sure you go. It's
Yeah.
quite the feast thing.
And, and then, Madam Chair, lastly, we talked about number 4 already, which was the update on the election.
Yeah, don't go through that again.
And the last thing in your packet, and I appreciate Ms. Antonellis preparing the memo and the analysis, is a cost analysis of mailing warrants versus postcards. And this is a discussion since I've been here that periodically has come up from the board and from other parts of town. You know, currently, we mail a warrant to every household for every town meeting, and there is a cost to that, and you have to print a minimum amount, so we've been throwing away a lot of them. Some towns do send a postcard. Ultimately, it's up to the Board of Selectmen, and neither Ms. Antonellis nor myself are making a recommendation per se, but we are putting forth to you all of the information for sort of discussion or future discussion on what is the best way to reach out to folks in a cost-effective manner.
So the postcard would have everything on it? It would just be...
So essentially, the postcard would say there's a town meeting upcoming. The warrant is on our town's website. If you'd like to access and print it there, great. If not, call or email us, and we will mail you the full warrant to your house. Or, they're available at town hall to be picked up.
So when do we usually mail them out? How long before a town meeting?
2 weeks,
2 weeks?
Yeah.
10 days to 2 weeks
Okay.
typically.
So would we have to, like, change when we mail them out so that in case somebody did want to call and have one mailed to them, there's extra time? I'm just asking a question.
I would think so.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this.
it's a good
And also,
point.
it doesn't be approved to fund a warrant too, right? You can't really mail something out, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
And we'd still have to print full warrants for town meeting itself,
Yep,
correct?
yeah.
Okay.
And at the bottom of the memo, I said definitely it's for food for thought.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't recommend, obviously, making any changes this year.
Oh,
This
no,
would be
no.
for
Yeah,
future.
for the future.
Remember that one year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mail it.
'Cause
Yes.
With our average attendance of 100 people at town meeting, and we're mailing over 3,500 pieces of mail,
Yeah.
is
that's
that
not-
cost effective? I mean, we'd save about $1,000 an election, or a town meeting if we
Right,
went
right,
with the
right.
postcards.
Yeah.
Right.
And through the chair, again, we wanted you to get all of the info because we've talked about it, but without all of the info. So there's all the info. There may be some other way or some other option, but we just figured to get the discussion, going. And I agree with.
I think it has merit. I think it has merit.
Yeah.
I guess one other little concern is that if the postcard's too small, too thin, sometimes it gets lost in the machines.
Yeah, we did a 6x12.
Okay.
Because I asked for them to do it on the bigger side. We could do
Okay.
it colored cardstock,
Okay.
Fancy.
double-sided, yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be like color paper, black ink.
right.
But,
And kind of a good weight to the paper.
yeah,
or
like a
something.
cardstock, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
just so it stick out. I know, obviously not like a 3.5 by 5.
Right.
or
Right.
something.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of envisioning. I'm like, those things get
Yeah.
lost. So
No,
yeah.
big.
Well, I definitely think it's something to consider.
Yeah, and through the chair, and we're not looking for a decision tonight. I know we're running
Yeah.
behind, but at least the information is there, and I think we should further, discuss potential options moving forward.
Do you look into what other towns are doing, or if anybody's tried this?
Yeah, again, some towns do the postcard. Some towns do the postcard, and they also have, like, if you want to be on the mailing
Well,
list,
that was
they
another
do a.
question, could we do like a, sign up for a mailing list type, because
There
there's
is,
some people that.
yeah,
That would be a very good
like,
idea.
so if you wanted to be instant on the mailing list, there's the postcard.
Some towns,
Some do mail the warrant like we do. Some, which I wasn't keen on, mail like a summary. So it's, like just
No.
a summary, but I wasn't, my personal opinion, not too keen on that. So, yeah, so everybody does it a little different. We're
and
just,
some don't mail anything.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and some don't.
So
So
we're
we're not
required to
obligated.
mail something.
You're not
We're
required.
not required?
No.
Okay.
We
I
have,
always thought we had to.
yeah, through the chair, the town government study committee, I think of 2000, it was before I came, made a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to mail the warrants, and so we've always done that. Under the state law, the requirement is it has to be posted in 3 public places in each precinct,
Right.
and that meets I'm just saying the legal piece, but we've always mailed them based on that recommendation from 2000.
Right.
And maybe we continue to do that. We're just,
Yeah.
as times change, we're just looking at what's the best
Well, I mean,
mechanism.
I think it has a lot of merit. I think that, we should think about it and then maybe discuss it again, to make sure that if we're gonna go this way, that we do it the best way possible. I think, sending out postcards not a bad idea. I think having, and if you'd like to be on the mailing list is a terrific idea.
Yeah,
I think it has a lot of merit. I think it has a lot
Okay.
of merit, so, yeah.
all right.
Roll it over, I guess.
Give it, give it some thought.
Fine tune things.
Yep.
Come up with ideas.
Can we
To
throw
Robert and
that on
Carly as
next
they're
year's,
kind of
census
fine tuning this.
bottom? Would you like to do in the town?
We could do those type of things, yeah.
Yeah.
Check this
That's
box
a good
for the
idea.
mailing.
We'll see if we can find some samples too for you. we ran out of time to get some actual samples
Yeah.
of what other towns
Yeah,
do.
we
Let's see what we
can
can
ask.
find.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth considering.
That concludes my report, and I thank the board for your time and patience on this momentous night. So, thank you.
All right, Scott.
All right. So I've asked for 2 items tonight. One is on public outreach, which I did have a meeting with Carly and Robert about a week or 2 weeks ago, just as a brainstorm session. So this came up out of the last, not the very last, but one of the field, athletic field forums that they had. Someone had posted on Facebook that there were, other than that individual, there was 2 other people in the audience who were not directly associated with the project or the town government. So from that, part of the comment on Facebook was regarding getting information out. So I reached out to this individual to get her feedback, and one of the things that she said is that we become over-reliant on electronic information. So there are, and I know Mary has made comments to this many, many times over years when I've been on the finance committee, that we need to find a better way to get information out there of upcoming meetings, upcoming important events for people who maybe don't want to go online, don't think to look online. So we had a good conversation a couple weeks ago, and I guess there are some ideas that have been in, I guess, the infancy process, and I'd like to kind of take a further look at that, some kind of message board at some of the major areas, maybe at the transfer station, at the library.
To your point, we have the new fire department message board that's coming up. It's going to be done soon, right? The next couple
Yeah,
months?
they're working on that.
Could that be
for-
something we utilize? I mean,
Yeah.
Selectmen's meeting tonight at 7, or
Mhm.
finance committee, or school committee? I mean, just for people, it's pounding people.
Yep.
So I'll get you here on time.
What's that?
Well, I'll get you here on time.
7:03. Make sure you're there before 7:03.
He actually showed up early one time. The whole night was
I'm
ruined.
going to be sitting here next week.
Me-
6:45.
Can you come here in a week early? So, yes.
Scott had mentioned when we were brainstorming, like maybe something at the transfer station, like almost like our posting board that we have out here. The issue is keeping it timely and who's doing it, and
Yeah.
will I be running up to the transfer station to hang posters? Probably not the best use of time, but
No, I
if
agree.
that's what the
I'm
people
there every
want,
weekend.
yeah.
Right.
Change the letters.
If, I don't know, it's probably a good idea because a lot of people go up there, but it's just managing it, and
Right,
Yeah.
right.
so, in theory, I do like
digital
the,
options, like something on a smaller scale than we're doing with the fire department. That could be.
Yeah, I don't want our town to become Vegas, though.
Can there be something at the end? Could we work with the school too? They have a message board out front. That doesn't always have to be school related. And everybody sees that if you're driving to Washington or pulling in school, got kids off.
BOS meeting tonight.
Oh.
Go to town hall, yes.
We have digital boards in our main area when you enter the school, which can be easily programmed. And I have to tell you, we probably, because of all the activities and the kids involved, that would be an excellent place for you to get your message out, because everyone's always there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time.
To the chair, that is an excellent idea. And in fact, in Chuck and Cindy, there are 3 of them scheduled for this building. They just have to get installed for here. But that's a good idea. The one out on the fire station, but yeah, the thing.
Like collaborative, wherever we can do it with.
Right, I'm very encouraged by the library in the sense of more
agree.
integration on both ways there. I think we can do even more with the schools. We've done a lot with the schools, but I think, and in talking with Selectman Hood too, I think, we're going to continue to do like the website and the Facebook and the Twitter, but that's obviously there's a huge part of the town that doesn't use that or check it frequently. And also, I think the message can get stale too, even through that. So what are some other ways?
It's true, because when I met with Principal Christie right after he was hired, he asked me, how do we get, and I said, please, give me some ideas. How do we get more people in town involved?
Yeah.
That aren't necessarily involved in the school, just involved in general.
Well,
And it's-
getting the
it's-
information is different than getting them involved.
True, true.
So,
But if you can eliminate that, oh, I didn't know, well, it was in 17 different places in your face for 3 weeks.
I have had a friend whose phone will ring, she's got the text and a message through Facebook and will look you in the eye and say, I didn't get nothing. And I'm like, really? Because I'm looking at all the notifications from me on your phone. You know, so
But I-
sometimes that's just,
You know, you can only lead a horse to water, I guess. So, I mean, it's a good valid point, I think. Next, the fire department, the police has that mobile one too,
Mm-hmm.
that maybe we could post.
Can I actually just ask Mary Spinner, would those be adequate? Do you feel, because this is something I know you and I have talked about over the last few years.
Of getting it out in development.
Yeah, for
And
people
she
who
did a
aren't-
very good idea using the school, because Lunenburg, when I go up to the grocery store, they always have something flashing on their big sign when you go into their complex there. So I think that's a good idea. We do have the mobile announcements, and like you said, you can, you know, you can say, oh, we're having this, and this, yeah. Oh, I don't like to go out in the winter, it's cold. Oh, I don't, night
It was
drive.
beautiful.
I say that every time I'm coming down here. I go out, it's cold, it's raining.
I debated being 3 hours late
So on
tonight,
TV.
but then the last minute. But
I think lawn signs would be effective too. I know Susan's been doing a lot of those, election this day, vote here today. The problem with that is they're kind of costly, and then
Yeah. They don't get
if
picked
something,
up.
if something gets moved, you know, something
Yeah.
switches, then you got a lawn sign out there,
Well, you
so.
could have, you know, the US meeting every other Tuesday.
Well, like, so the
First and third
police should
Tuesdays.
probably move their message board to the Rotary.
Correct, it is.
Is it there now? I know Chief uses it in front of the station a lot, but not everybody in town drives down Park Street.
We can ask if
Most
they
people
can.
go,
They
you
have-
know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so where everybody can see,
Yep,
vote, whatever way you want to vote on Saturday.
yep.
That could be a good tool. I noticed Littleton has one for something they're doing on 2A as you come in from Acton, a big, huge
Mhm.
one, something at the school this weekend. It's just a thought.
So we're having these screens similar to the school. We're having some put here. One side's going to be a directory because we've had so many musical offices. It's going to
Oh, I
be
asked for
easier.
that a long time
Yeah,
ago.
so it's going to be easier to update A, B. Then we can do running. There'll be the calendar, and so there's a lot of people that come in, pay their taxes, get their birth certificates. Especially now with the new license system, where you have to have a birth certificate, we're seeing a lot of increased traffic. So I
And
think,
evidently you need the full form your social security card came attached to.
yeah, it's crazy.
The full form.
We don't have that, really?
Not just, you know, you take off the little wallet piece.
Oh.
No, you need the full form that it came attached to.
So
How many
we,
has that? They got their social security number at birth. How many have it? Yeah, go ahead, find it.
so I think those will be installed over the winter. So that's another tool to display stuff here.
Robert?
I was just thinking, you know, and again, there are some challenges, but I mean, the transfer station is a very popular spot in town. What other spots do a lot of people maybe interact or so forth? And I think Peroni Park. I think the challenge is actually ownership of the information and keeping it current, but it is doable. The question is, where would we hit the
Right.
maximum spots?
Right.
Okay.
Well, is that something we can obviously talk with Cindy too?
Mhm.
About programming and
Mm-hmm.
ease of, and
You know, like you said, you don't need to be going out in a foot of snow to stand in front of a sign at the park in the winter time.
That's good. You guys are on the right track.
Anything else on that? Okay. Second item I asked for was Devon's disposition. So the Board of Selectmen received a letter regarding the Harvey Devon's Jurisdiction Committee. the town of Harvard is putting together a committee of Harvard and Devon's residents to take a look at disposition at Devon's. It's headed by, I think, Victor Normand, who I've worked with a couple times with the original Vicksburg Square question. And I would urge that we in the town of Ayer look to put together a similar committee to start doing some analysis and getting some feel around whether what the impact would be for disposition. And I would stress that with the proposal that will be forthcoming, I'm assuming, with Vicksburg Square coming from Mass Development, I think it's pertinent that we start really looking at it and how much it would impact our community. Because the project itself, as I've said, with the initial Vicksburg Square proposal, the biggest question was, what does it mean at disposition?
Mm-hmm.
And if we can follow Harvard's lead and we can start driving towards disposition with a firm decision of what the communities want to do, I think it would help us make decisions along the way between now and 2033.
Mhm. Sounds good.
33.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only 15 years away.
And on that note, actually going to be meeting with Mr. Norman next week. So Robert had sent an email a couple weeks ago saying that, you know, they tried to reach us over the summer to set something up. Never heard anything. We finally got something set up, so I'll be meeting with him, with the chairman of Harvard next week. So whatever is discussed, I'll be able to bring forward the following week.
As much as it pains me to say, shouldn't Shirley be involved in this at some point?
Well, that's,
Oh, they have
yeah,
land.
so this is interesting because
Really
this is,
small.
you know, this is almost
Yeah,
kind of
small.
like a new J-Boss going on, and Harvard never liked Shirley being involved in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
You like that?
no, and lastly, related to this, I just got an email from Mr. Starzyk, actually this afternoon, wants to come back to the board with some more information about Vicksburg
Offerings?
Square. Well, I mean, that's where the board left it with them.
Right.
So I'll get more information. He was just asking for the board's schedule, so.
Okay.
But, and I think we all agree, I agree with Selectman Hood that if they're moving with that model, I mean, obviously we want to make sure that Ayer's interests are preserved and maximized.
And there's a lot of air interest there. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
Can I ask if you don't mind if Starzy could come on the 16th? It's not here.
Yeah.
Do you object? I mean, if he's ready.
I think he seemed to
He
be
seemed,
ready,
yeah,
from the
okay.
email.
Thank you.
We'll reach out to him.
Mhm.
All right. Sounds good. I agree.
All right, thank you.
Anything else? No.
All right.
All right, so Scott and I read the meeting minutes, and we both made a couple of adjustments. So I'm good with them
I'm
from
good.
the September 11th meeting.
I read the email highlight, like the beginning of the top, it says minutes, before I hit delete.
So, yeah, they look good. I rely on you two. I trust you so much. I didn't mean this. I know you both read them, so there's no sense for me to,
On that note, I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 11th, 2018.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair says aye, the meeting minutes are approved.
we've worked together so long.
And it's
Trust
it's
you.
it's like a marriage. We can
Yeah.
finish each other's sentences.
That's right.
Whew.
Oh, jeez.
How long were you saying you're going to be out? I need a break. All right.
Thank you.
Well, if there is nothing else on that, I'll take a motion for adjournment.